Going?
Yep.
For sure?
Yep, it's going.
Okay.
It's 4 seconds in at the moment.
Thanks. Alright, close it. Okay, so I'm super nervous right now because I feel awkward in front of the camera, so just bear with me through this video. I kind of don't know where I'm going with the makeup. I have a little bit of an idea, so I'm just going to kind of go for it and see what happens. I'm going to start with the Best Damn Beauty lip mask. This stuff is the best stuff ever. I live in Montana. It's super cold here, so my lips get really dry and chapped. So I like to put this on usually at the start of my makeup if I remember. Sometimes I don't. It has a really nice pink tint and it kind of smells like roses, so this stuff is amazing. If you haven't tried it, it's totally worth it. You might be able to see in the video, I'm not sure, but my lips are like peeling right now, so there's only so much I can do at the moment, but this is a good start. Okay, so as you can also see, my face has quite a bit of discoloration. I break out, I have acne scars, it's red in places, so I really love a full coverage foundation. I like a matte finish because sometimes I can get oily, and if I don't use a matte finish, I feel like my foundation kind of separates. So I really, really love matte finish full coverage foundation, and the one that I found that I really, really like is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. Right now I'm using the shade Bisque Medium. I have noticed recently that it's starting to kind of crease on my forehead, which I'm 25 years old, I don't have wrinkles. But sometimes I get little creases, so that's new. I don't know why it's doing that. I've been using this foundation for probably over a year. Maybe it's time to try something new. I'm not really sure. I kind of go back and forth with primers. Right now, I really like this Laura Mercier foundation primer. It's the Radiance one, which I really want to try the matte one, but I just haven't done it yet. I tend to like primers that have more kind of like a lotion consistency. So I do really like this one. Just put it all over my face. Okay, so today I'm going to be using kind of some glittery eyeshadows, so I'm going to do my foundation last. So I'm going to start with my eye makeup. I always start with the primer from Urban Decay. Their primer potion, but I use it in Eden. It's basically like a concealer. So I've been using this stuff forever and I really like it. I just put a little bit on my lid. So before I get started with my eye makeup, I will say I have kind of a complicated eye shape in my opinion. I have hooded eyes, but it's also very puffy. So you can see when I just kind of open my eyes like normal, I have this hood that kind of covers my lid and it's puffy. It's, yeah, and it's really difficult to work with, like cut creases, you know, things like that. I can't just put eyeshadow in my crease all the time where it makes them look super hooded. I also don't do well with really any type of eyeliner because, as you can see, I have very, very, very small lid space. So if I use an eyeliner, a lot of times it completely hides any shadow I have on my lid, and I like to see my shadow. So more recently, I have not been using eyeliner. Also, I love when I put lashes on, I use a dark lash glue, so that way it kind of actually looks like I have a thin line of eyeliner, but I don't. So yeah, I may do it a little bit differently than you would, but if you have puffy hooded eyes like me, then you may like this video. So before I apply any eyeshadow, I like to go with a pretty light, neutral, just color shade. I'm going to be using this Tarte palette right here. So I'm just going to go with the color Canvas, which is kind of like a creamy white color. And I think it's pretty much a matte shade, and I'm going to put it all over my lid. This, I feel like, helps when you're trying to blend shadows later on to just have a neutral powder base. I do it every single time. And I kind of try and press it in with my brush, just to make sure I get in any little crease, or just make sure I get it good coverage. Okay, so next, I have a couple different blending brushes that I use. I have the Morphe 332 brush, which is my favorite blending brush, and I use that for almost everything, so you'll see that brush a lot. I also have the Morphe 330, and it's got a little bit more of a point to it, so if I want to get really precise, I really like this, but I do have to blend quite a bit when I use this brush. So I'm going to go in, let's see, with the color Have We Met in this Tarte palette. And I'm going to use that as my transition shade. So I don't always go right in my crease because it's right here. I have very little lid space, so I try and bring my transition shade up more on my brow bone. And I bring it down kind of towards my nose here. I start with very little eyeshadow. I don't like to go, if I go too dark right away, then it's really hard to fix and I get lines. I don't know about you guys, but I always have a hard time with this eye, which would be my right eye. My left eye always goes pretty well. I don't know why this eye I always struggle with. It's kind of annoying. Alright, now I'm going to use my Morphe 330 brush. I'm going to go in with the color Stencil. It's a little bit darker, kind of a taupe color. And put it more towards my crease. I'm going to really be careful not to go too low with it. Again, kind of blending it down towards my nose. I try as hard as I can to angle the brush down. If I angle it like this, then I tend to get shadow kind of on my lid. So if you can, angle it upwards. When you angle it upwards, it also kind of blends nicely up here. So there's the color Stencil on that eye. When I try to bring it down in the corner here, I try to bring it out as much as possible. I think it's better to do it that way than not bring it out far enough, because then when I do my foundation and concealer, I can kind of conceal where it's come down a little bit too far. That's one area I struggle with my eye makeup, is where to bring these shadows to, how far down I need them to be. I'm just going to go and take my Morphe 332, put a little bit of the Have We Met shade, which is, again, it's a little bit of a lighter taupe, and just blend these two together. Probably one of my biggest things I've learned is that you cannot blend enough. Sometimes I blend so much that I kind of lose some of the colors, but again, you can go back in and add a little bit more. Later, it's easier to blend and then add more than it is to add too much and try and blend it all out. If you have hooded eyes like me, I watched the Stephanie Lange, I think is how you pronounce her name. She has great hooded eye tutorials, and one of her best tips that I've ever heard is if you have hooded eyes, do your eye makeup with your eye open so you can see how far you need to bring it up onto the hood of your eye in order to see the eye makeup. Because if you do it like this, a lot of times a lot of this right in here will get hidden by this hood when you close your eyes. So do it with your eye open first, and then do any blending on your lid that you need to do later. Okay. So this is the part I'm not so sure about because I just got this Urban Decay Moondust palette. I've been wanting it forever, and I've never used them. So it's going to be a little bit trial and error. You're going to be doing it with me, so bear with me. I really so far love the color Galaxy, which is kind of a dark teal color. I love Granite. I mean, I love all of them, but these are the ones I'm really excited about. Spectre is really pretty, but I'm going to kind of go with the more turquoisey green colors. So I'm going to start with, again, the Tarte palette, and as a base, I'm going to use this color Gothic, which is really dark, so probably going to take a lot of blending, so I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. It's kind of a dark, let's see, I mean, it's black, but it's got a little bit of a, kind of a teal tint to it. And I like the windshield wiper motion when I'm putting shadow on my lid. It kind of gets it in even, and I find it gets the best pigmentation. So as you can see, it's a really pretty, kind of deep teal. I really like this color. I'm going to add a little bit more. So this is the other thing with hooded eyes that I've learned. This is where doing your eye makeup with your eye open is going to come in. You can see it a little bit on my lid right now, but I'm going to bring it up just a tiny bit onto the hood so that you can see, even if my eye's all the way open, so you can see the color that I have on my lid. Just a little bit. You don't want to bring it up too far. You want to kind of work in that dome shape too. You want to kind of round it at the top there. So as you can see, when I have my eye open now, you can see just a little bit of color. And I'm going to go in with my, again, my Morphe 332 and just blend it on my hood a little bit. Perfect. Okay, sometimes I get so focused on one eye and I get going and get through the steps that I forget to do the other eye, but I'm gonna try not to do that today. Sometimes when I'm using dark colors, I keep adding and adding, and then all of a sudden I feel like it's out of control on my lid. So if you're using dark colors like this, really take your time. Don't go too crazy right away. You can always add more, but it's really hard to take away once you've already started. So just take your time and add slowly. Can never get the shape of this eye to look as good as this eye, like I said, but sometimes I just accept it and go with it. I brought up the green a little too high on the side, so I'm going to go in with Have We Met from the Tarte palette and blend it a little bit to try and lighten it. It's not terrible, but again, it's easy to get carried away with dark colors, so this is why I'm always really careful. So I've heard with these Moondust shades from Urban Decay that it's best to put on with your finger and then blend it out with a dry brush after. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go in with Galaxy. I'm going to go right over the top of this dark shade in Gothic in the Tarte palette. I'm going to use my finger and kind of tap it on, and it is really, really pretty, you guys. It's definitely more blue than turquoise than I thought, but I do really love it. Sometimes I feel like blue eyeshadows make me look ridiculous. I posted a look a few weeks back where I used blue eyeshadow, and I ended up deleting it off my Instagram because I looked at it later and was like, oh my gosh, I really don't like that on myself. But I do really like this. It's a little bit darker. As long as it's a kind of a deep blue, I don't mind it. But anything blue, I don't like. Okay, so I really love these eyeshadows. They're super pigmented. They're holographic. They've got, you know, kind of that iridescent shimmer to them. They kind of, you know, in the light bring out different colors. They're really pretty. I've only used one, but so far this one is really pretty. I'm just going to take this keep forgetting, M332 and just blend it a little bit. I'm going to go in with Stencil again, this kind of darker taupe that I used, and add a little bit more pigment on my brow bone, not too much. I'm going to be really light with it. Sometimes I find if I don't use a dark enough shade on my hood compared to my lid color, my eyes can look a little bit more hooded. So I try and go not super dark on my hood, but also not too much, not too light, I don't know what I'm saying, not too much lighter than the shade on my hood. And then again, I'm going to go in with Have We Met. This is just an example, you can't blend enough. Have We Met is a lighter taupe, and I'm just going to blend it more. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for shadow now. The camera keeps doing weird things. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to try. But I did my other brow while I was away. And now I'm going to take some concealer on my hand. I'm using the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in Warm, L7 Warm, I don't know. Trying to find my little brush. I'm going to use this little Real Techniques accent brush is what it's called. And I'm going to take the concealer, put a little bit on, and just go over the line or the outline of my eyebrow with it. This will make it look really sharp, really nice. You can also conceal any areas that didn't turn out perfect. So I kind of just blend the edges with my finger. I think we're good there. Now I'm going to go in with this angle brush back to my eyeshadow. I'm going to use Stencil a little bit under my lash line, lower lash line. Really hope I'm in focus, you guys. If I'm not, I'm really sorry. This is the first time I've done a video with my actual digital SLR camera, and it's a little bit of trial and error getting it to focus on my face. It does have autofocus. It's a Canon 6D, but the video autofocus is not amazing, I'll be honest about it. I even have it on face recognition focus, and it is not loving it. So there's that taupe color stencil under my eye. I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara and apply some on my lid or my lashes. Hopefully not on my lid. My tube is drying up. I need to buy a new tube. I don't know about you, but I don't like buying mascara. It's not my favorite part of my makeup. But it is necessary. Alright, now lashes. I'm using the Ardell Demi Wispies. I love these. I actually like their just regular Wispies a little bit better, but I always find the Demi Wispies in the multi-pack, so I typically buy those. And I just used, again, their dark lash glue, lash adhesive. I put a thin line on there, pretty thin. Make sure I get enough on the very ends of the lashes because that's where they tend to come up the most if they do it all, but these ones stay on pretty well, and this glue is pretty awesome. The other reason I like the dark glue is because it kind of comes out like a gray, like a light gray color, and you can tell when it's time to apply them to your lids because the glue will start to darken, and you want it to be tacky. If you try and put them on before the glue is tacky, they're just going to slide it all around your lid, and it's going to be really frustrating. So wait about 30 seconds, sometimes I even wait a minute until it gets nice and tacky, and then I apply it. I even blow on it to speed it up a little bit because I'm super impatient. I'm like panicking right now that my camera is going to quit videoing. I'm trying to get this done before it quits on me again, but I also shouldn't rush or else it's going to be a disaster. My phone's blowing up right now, and I'm dying to see what you guys are saying on my Instagram account. I recently posted a photo asking for some feedback, and for you guys to let me know what you want to see more of on my Instagram page, and even now that I have a YouTube channel, what you want to see more of. This is new to me. I've been into makeup forever, but this Instagram, the social media is new, so I want to know what you want. So please go on my Instagram at makeup.by.kaitlin. Kaitlin is spelled Kaitlin. So follow me, let me know what you want to see. And I love reading comments, so any feedback, any comments, I really appreciate it. So I'm just going to start at the center. Press it on. The inner corner is the hardest part, so just be patient. Lashes take a long time to get used to, but once you put them on enough, you really just get the hang of it, and it's pretty easy. My biggest recommendation to you, or tip, whatever, with lashes, is let the glue get tacky. Again, if you don't, like, you know, I apply them with tweezers, so if the glue is not tacky and I put on my lid and then try to let go with the tweezers, it comes off with the tweezer, I get glitter on my eyelid, and it's a total disaster. So just wait for the glue to darken and get tacky. You can even touch it with your finger a little bit to make sure it's tacky, and you will have a much better experience. Ardell lashes are actually pretty inexpensive too. I buy them at Ulta. I got this multi-pack for $10, $9.99. I do reuse each pair maybe twice, sometimes 3 times if I keep them nice enough, but if I use them too much, the glue kind of starts to look a little funky on the lash line, and it's a little bit more obvious that you're wearing fake lashes. So I use them maybe once or twice. I do go through lashes quite a bit. They're laying all over my house. My husband is finding them constantly, and they look like little spiders, so sometimes it freaks us out, but I do love Ardell. I just tried a pair of Icona lashes. They are awesome. Super thick, super high quality, and I love them. But for everyday, day-to-day looks, Ardell lashes are where it's at. The Demi Wispies are very, I would say natural. The regular Wispies are a little bit more, they're like kind of glamour lashes. But the Demi Wispies are very natural looking. If you're a bride and you're getting married and you're wanting to purchase fake lashes for your wedding day, highly recommend the Demi Wispies. They got just enough drama, but they're not going to look ridiculous, as you can see. So now my lashes are on, I'm going to add a little bit of highlighter to under my brows, I'm going to use the shade On Display in my Tarte palette. Let me figure out what this is called here. It's like a collector's palette, and it doesn't say on here, but I can put it in the description box which one it is. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
My awesome husband just came in to check and make sure my camera is still recording and focus on my face, because he loves me and he's amazing. His name is Seth, by the way. My husband's name is Seth. I have a 19-month-old daughter named Olivia. I love her to death. She put us through the ringer for the first 8 months of her life. She was born prematurely, 6 weeks prematurely, has had 10 brain surgeries, and but she's doing great now, and she's just learning to walk. I also forgot that I used this with that dark shade, so I got a little bit on my lower eye there. I'm just going to go through and use my concealer to kind of get that away. I do the other concealer that I love, if you use a powdered foundation, or even liquid, I use it with liquid too, is this Bare Minerals concealer in Well Rested. Is the best under eye concealer. I really do love it. I've used it for years and years and years, and I'm like, for some reason, super freaked out that they're going to discontinue it. I don't know why I think that, because I don't hear about a lot of people using it. Maybe that's why. But use it, buy it, you'll love it, I promise, and I really don't want them to discontinue it. So last but not least is my lips. I'm going to use, since I have a little bit darker eye, I'm going to use a very neutral kind of gloss from NYX. It's the NYX Glam Lip Gloss in The Last Party. It's kind of a little shimmery pink.